Now, I don't want people to get upset with me because of what I'm saying to them regarding relaying this message. People have to understand their lineage, what it means, and what these spiritual contracts with the Most High means in order for you to rebirth. You are rebirthed according to your bloodline. Now that these reptilian and serpent race bloodlines have been set free, they will no longer be rebirthing back to Earth. They're going to be restored back to their original bloodlines on planet Saturn. Now, what is the significance of this? There's a whole host of scripture in the Bible that recognize these traditions. A whole host of them. And also recognizes the fact that people married back then in a bloodline. That was the whole purpose of arranged marriages. Not just to be nasty or freaky deaky or incest and all of that stuff. No, it didn't have anything to do with that. It was to keep the contract with the Most High. Like I said before, non-blacks already knew that. That's why they put this in black families' DNA. Okay? So, marriages back then were arranged for a reason. They knew who you had to be married in order to keep this contract with the Most High. It says that in Genesis, when Jacob went to his uncle's house to marry, to find a wife, and he fell in love with Sarah. I think that was the lady, Sarah. But she was the youngest daughter. And he wasn't the youngest daughter back then. By tradition, was not allowed to marry before the oldest daughter. So his uncle made him to work in the field, toil and labor, in order to marry that girl. That's called a dowry. A dowry is work performed or monies paid in order to marry into a specific family. And his uncle made Jacob to work 7 years in the field to marry Sarah. And at the end of his 7 years, he made that boy to marry the oldest daughter, Leah, instead. And I'm sure he was pissed. And that's made him work 7 more years in the field as a shepherd man or whatever he was doing, just to marry that girl, Sarah, and left his first wife with no love. But his first wife was the one that bared him all the children. Hence is how he got all of them sons. A tribe of 12. So that's an interesting story. You should check that out. It's in Genesis. It's the story of Jacob and how he got his house. So That is the reason why marriages were arranged. Nowadays, they call it incest, and oh, it's nasty, you marrying your cousin, and all of this mess. It's not about that. It's about keeping your bloodline pure and keeping your traditions in the Most High. Shoot, after after God destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah, and Lot lost his wife. He was in a cave with his two daughters, and his two daughters had sex with him to keep his lineage going. That was the whole purpose of that story. I think that's in Genesis 2. So, this is the whole reason why we talking about these bloodlines. The Bible is full of incest too. You know, it's about keeping your bloodline pure so that you can keep God's tradition, so that you have a way back here to where you belong. That's what that's about. And people don't know what these traditions are because they stripped them away from the people. They have. There are religions and our traditions that are non-traditions of black families that God recognizes as his bloodline. For example, if a Christian married a Hindu, God will recognize that contract. Okay. So, back to, like I said, with Solomon. He fell from grace from the Most High because he married a person that was not of his traditions and started practicing his wife's tradition and making sacrifices to her god, which was Moloch. Child sacrifice too, which ultimately caused his demise. So I'm just letting y'all know. Black men and women out here. If you want to get your ass back to earth and rebirth, if you want to keep your lineage going, you gotta have black babies. You gotta have a certain amount of melanin in your skin in order to rebirth back here. Not 50%, not 40, not 25. At least God just said 3/4 way. So, leaving your family with no spiritual contract to get back. Just gotta change. So please don't get upset with the message. This is a learning experience. This is to help you so you can understand what's happening right now. Oh, sure, it was cool to be with mixing of the bloods before, because these bloodlines were being rebirthed back here. But they have been set free. They won't be rebirthing back here any longer. They're going to be sent home to the 8th dimension. which means now you have no spiritual house, no spiritual family to rebirth these children to. So I think it twice. Go to your nifty Bible and look up that Corinthians verse about being with non-traditional, non-black. For real. You're going to ultimately end up messing up your whole bloodline. And this has been another message from your girl Dubb. God talking to y'all now. He talking. He wants you to know. He wants y'all to get back here. He wants y'all to learn y'all lessons. He wants y'all to pay y'all karmic debts. He wants y'all to clean up y'all's bloodlines. He wants y'all to clean up y'all's act, period. And live right by him. For real. You know the truth. Till next time, y'all. It's your girl Dubb. Deuces.